Hi, I'm Brent Johnson with Santiago Capital. For the last several years, I've put out an enormous amount of work related to the global monetary system and the US dollar's role within it. These views have often flown in the face of conventional wisdom, but I continue to do so because I think the dollar's resilience continues to be extremely misunderstood. Our latest paper is called The Band: Strength, Death, and Reserve Regimes. And at 80 pages, it is the most complete statement we have made on how the dollar system actually functions, why the consensus keeps getting the death of the dollar wrong, and what that means for portfolios being built today. The argument we lay out in this paper begins with the fact almost nobody fully internalizes. Simply put, almost every dollar in the world started life as someone's debt. That is not a metaphor. Under the credit based monetary system the planet has been running on for the better part of a century, money is loaned into existence. Banks extend credit, sovereigns issue credit, and central banks accommodate credit. The one narrow exception is base money, meaning physical currency and coins and reserves held at the Federal Reserve, and which only the United States Treasury and the Federal Reserve can create. Everything outside that base money perimeter is created by someone willing to extend credit against their own balance sheet and risk their own capital. The broad dollar supply is, by construction, the broad dollar debt outstanding. That single fact changes how the dollar system has to be understood. Furthermore, as a result of this design, countries outside the United States must run two carry trades at all times, whether they want to or not. The first is the global carry trade. They source dollar funding in the euro dollar market and they deploy it into the euro dollar economy, which some of that production earning dollars from exports and some of it earning local currency from the domestic economy. The second carry trade is the local carry trade. Their own banking system loans local currency into existence, the same way the dollar system loans dollars into existence. Both carries sit simultaneously and they exist simultaneously. And the dangerous thing is that currencies trade relative to each other, which means one or two of these carry trades is always going against them. The United States, on the other hand, runs only one carry trade. It runs a debt-based domestic banking system like everybody else. But its external obligations are denominated in the same unit that it issues. That asymmetry is the structural advantage the rest of the world has been trying to overcome for the past half century. But the prison walls are much higher and much thicker than most thought possible. One structural point belongs in this introduction because everything sits on top of it. The euro dollar market sits entirely outside the US base money perimeter. There is no base money in the euro dollar market, and nobody in the euro dollar market can create it. Every euro dollar deposit is a claim on a bank that holds a claim on other banks that hold claims on still other banks. In other words, the euro dollar market is not partially levered. The euro dollar market is leverage, end to end, all the way down. This simple reality of where the leverage actually sits has enormous implications for the cascading effects if and when there is ever a systemic break. We're calling this paper The Band because that name does several jobs at once. The band is the price corridor the dollar index must stay inside for the global monetary system to function properly. And in the same sense that Tommy Norris on Landman lays out the price corridor that crude oil has to stay in for the oil patch to function properly. And we use the band, the Rolling Stones, as the spine of this piece. Their arc and the dollar's arc track each other almost beat for beat from the early 1960s forward. The dollar milkshake theory is referenced throughout this report as the lens through which we view the dollar system, but we do not rederive that framework in this report. Readers new to the concept can find the original treatment of this in prior Santiago Capital work and on our website. Simply put, our view is that the dollar is not dying, and the system is built so that it cannot die of weakness, because every move towards weakness creates more of the dollar debt that keeps the world inside the system. If it ever does die, it will die of strength. The end game the consensus keeps writing about has been kicked further down the road than the consensus believes, and the reasons are structural, not cyclical. If you're interested in understanding why, please go to research.santiagocapital.com for more details. Thanks for listening. Premium subscribers get full access to the band for 2 weeks from June 17th through July 1st. You do not need a pro subscription. Premium is $399 a year, and that single upgrade puts the entire report in your hands the moment it goes live for 2 full weeks. Pro members get it 24 hours early on June 16th, the way they always get first access during these promotions. If you have been on the fence about test driving the research service, this is the moment that makes sense. You are not just buying a report. You are getting 2 weeks to see how the framework actually works, whether the analysis earns a place in how you think about markets, and whether the deeper tier is worth it to you. Upgrade to Premium and the band is yours on June 17th.